Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Ask Dr. Jack Show. I am Dr. Jack Belitz, chiropractor in Omaha.
Hello, everybody. I'm Aaliyah, Dr. Jack's assistant.
And so today, we're going to talk about something that is very near and dear to this office. It's something that we love to help people with because it's been such a huge effect on our lives. And we're actually going to spend the month on this
Right, so this
subject.
month is Depression and Suicide Awareness and Prevention Month. So all month long, we're going to be talking about different aspects of depression, what you can do about depression, things that cause depression, what works, what doesn't work, and kind of how we do things here in our office, because you should have options on how to take care of yourself.
Yeah, and let's face it, the options that don't include drugs would be a bonus, huge. So, to give you an idea of what we're going to be doing in the future, and just kind of go from there. So, anyway, so first of all, the thing that you probably want to ask yourself is, do you have depression? It'd be nice to know if that was something that you even had to worry about, or maybe a loved one. You're worried about one of your kids, or your sister, your brother, or your friend. There's a couple of important things to kind of look for. Now, realize depression is incredibly complex. There is so much going on. No two people are going to have the same symptoms, and although we have all these symptoms, nobody's going to have all of them. But if you see a few of these symptoms in that person, it might lead you to say, hey, I wonder if this could be an issue. And just knowing that there might be something to investigate is a great start at maybe heading off a major problem in the future.
Right.
So, for instance, if you have somebody that that you know, or you yourself are often sad, anxious, maybe a feeling of hopelessness, that's a very, very common thing. Other things include pessimism, always down about stuff, always looking towards the bad things in life. Or maybe somebody's always feeling guilt, or they feel like they're worthless or even helpless in some aspect, or maybe all aspects of life. We're seeing more and more of those people around in general. Then, of course, there's a loss of interest in activities or hobbies that somebody used to really love. Even including sex, they're losing interest in any of these things, can be a big sign that depression symptoms are kind of afoot. Another thing, look for how the people respond. Are they restless a lot? Or do they get irritable? Are they having difficulty concentrating? You can see this a lot of times in school kids. If they're not able to concentrate, if they're not remembering the stuff that they learned, if they're struggling in school, that's a big sign to look at why are they struggling in school? Because if they have been studying but they're just not recalling stuff, maybe there's an aspect of depression that they're dealing with. Then of course there's things that are very different in different people. Like, for instance, sleep can be affected. For some people, they can't get to sleep. They can't stay asleep. They can't fall asleep. It's just horrible because, sleep is important. And then there's the other side of it where people who are depressed sleep all day long. They never want to get out of bed. So you can see that stress and depression is huge in these people's lives, but it's affecting them in different ways. Same thing goes with eating habits. Some people can't eat, or if they do eat, they burn it up right away and they just get skinny and emaciated and just are like nothing. And then you got the other spectrum where people who are depressed just put on pound after pound, 10, 20, 30, 50, 80 pounds of weight, because they have these feelings of depression. So that just kind of gives you an example of how depression can be so different in so many different people. So then the next thing is, what causes depression? We go back to the idea of stress, of physical stress.
Falling down.
Perfect. Exactly. Car accidents, falling out of a tree, all kinds of things like that. Chemical stress.
Chemical stress is what you eat and what you use every day.
That's right. Or maybe the neighbor put down some pesticides and you're having to deal with that. There's a lot of things. And the last one, mental emotional stress. It's huge how much we're inundated with, especially these days with the internet and 24-hour news stations. And then you've got on the phone, you got your Facebook, you got your Snapchat, you got your Instagram, all these sources of potential stress hitting people's lives. And then how do we combat it? Well, we don't eat great anymore. And we probably do less activity as a culture now than in the entirety of mankind. I mean, people will circle a parking lot so they can get the closest spot to the door. It's insane how little we really help ourselves get rid of the stress that we do encounter. And so when that stress happens, it starts to overwhelm our brain. Our higher cortical centers, those are the ones that allow you to step back, see the big thing, stay away from depression. If they get overwhelmed, that's where these feelings of hopelessness or sadness or all the things we mentioned at the beginning, they start becoming more and more pervasive in a person's thought process. And then that's when you start getting the symptoms that we diagnose as depression and stuff like that. So the question then is, what can be done about it? Well, obviously exercise is huge. Get a person into exercise, make sure they're eating correctly. And so, the last thing is the type of work we do here in the office. We do some amazing ways at taking the effects that stress has put on a person's life and getting rid of those effects. So let's face it, we can't get rid of the stress in your life. I could be glad to offer you a ticket to some desert island, but that's not going to stop stress. So stress is a part of our lives. We do a very advanced techniques here which allow us to help your brain start processing things in a different way. And so now, even though nothing really changes in the outside aspect of your life, internally your brain is processing things better and more efficiently. So these are kind of some of the important things when it comes to depression that you can do to combat them. So hopefully this was a good introduction for you. Comment below to let us know, what kind of symptoms that you have seen with people who are depressed. Maybe some of the things that you have done yourself to overcome depression. There's so many different things out there and we don't know all of them. So, being knowledgeable about what other people are finding, especially in today's society, would be great. And then, of course, share this with people so that, more and more people can see it and understand a little bit more about this diagnosis. That's about it.
That wraps it up.
All right, you guys have a great day and
Stay
stay healthy,
healthy,
Omaha.
Omaha.